Welcome everybody to today's Innovation Gala. It's a great pleasure that you took time to come here and listen to our students and also our keynote speaker. Our students were working for, I would say, 7 months, quite hard, and sometimes they had some breaks like Christmas and between studies. But overall, they worked quite hard, and today is the day where they present what they have achieved in front of the audience, in front of you, and especially in front of our industrial partners who support this program quite extensively now for many years. And that is very important to mention because without industry, this format would not work. Therefore, I would like to say hello and welcome especially our representatives from the industry. Hugo Carre, head of the Process Innovation Center at TDK, who is the product leader of the TDK team. Michael Bergmann, who focuses at Andritz in this area and supports our students now for several years. Roland Albustin from OMV from Vienna. Thank you very much. It's the third time, I think, that you focus on this project with our students. Mr. Bernhard Weiß-Buslama is here from PALFINGER. Thank you very much. Also, already, I think, the third time that we have a PALFINGER team. And Mr. Daniel Hartmann is here. Thank you very much from Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug AG from Ulm. Thank you for taking the trip to come to Graz. So these are the 5 companies we have this year where the students hope to see some good solutions. I would like to welcome especially Professor Kalevi Ekman, who will give our keynote speech, how to educate the best product developers in the world. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, so let's just have a little look at the agenda for that. So we will start with the keynote. Then I will give a brief overview, 2-3 slides about what this is all about. The product innovation. Then we have 2 teams who present. First, a short panel discussion about this format and the format we will hear in Finland. Then we have 3 teams, complete 5. And afterwards, you are asked to vote who was kind of the best team of the 5. Yeah, and that's it. Some closing remarks, and in roughly 2 hours, we will have food. I just want to mention we have a catering. We have also a grill outside at the balcony, and we will rearrange here a little bit. So I'm asking you to make space also for my staff in order to rearrange. Good. Then let's start with our keynote. I would like to introduce quickly Professor Kalevi Ekman. Kalevi Ekman is a professor of machine design at Aalto University's School of Engineering, and he is the founder of the Product Development Project. That's the big brother, I would say, of our Product Innovation Project. And he started that almost 30 years ago. He's also the founding director of Aalto University's Design Factory, where most likely he will also talk about, an experimental co-creation platform for education, research, and the application of product design. His research and education activities focuses on integrated product development processes, the conceptual design phase, prototyping, and especially interdisciplinary co-creation between engineers, designers, and business professionals. And yesterday at dinner, I heard art, the School of Art is also important at Aalto University, and I like that very much to hear. Beyond Aalto, Kalevi Ekman is the initiator of the Global Design Factory Network, which connects almost or more than 30 institutions worldwide to foster collaborative innovation in higher education. He is also a recognized expert in project-based learning, university industry collaboration and education reform, and has inspired a generation of educators and innovators through his hands-on human-centered approach to engineering education. I hope that covers what you have achieved in the last 27 years at least, most likely longer. And Kalevi Ekman is really a true expert. And yesterday evening, I figured out that between the Finns and the Austrians, there's some similarities. And I'm really looking forward to your speech. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian, for the introduction. Now you know me. I love to speak to audience that knows me already. If you expect that there will be a lot of new in my talk, I may disappoint you because Christian told me to include very old stories, how the PDP course started to develop and why and so forth. But it doesn't mean that it could not be interesting as well. So PDP, Product Development Project, is something that has an official Aalto course code. So it's part of the curriculum, even if many people don't know that exactly. So where to start? I like history a bit, and I love the way how Laurentinus has managed to capture the concept of university education in his painting that was made more than 600 years back. What you see there, professor in his ivory tower sharing words of wisdom. The students are there making notes, so multiplying the amount of knowledge. Some of them are a bit more sleepy, but that happens. However, there are the assistants who keep some order and take care of the punishments whenever necessary. So the concept of university is very old. What has happened during those 600 years? Well, we have invented some interesting things like printed books, for instance, or internet or ChatGPT. But how does the university education look now? I don't see that much different. Well, particularly when speaking about fields like product development, we may ask the question that how does anyone learn product development? I guess there can be several approaches. You can read textbooks, you can come to lectures, you can do some artificial exercises given by the professor, but I'm a bit afraid that it will not take you there. In my opinion, we need something else. This picture is actually taken from another context. Our students of mechanical engineering carrying out a small exercise where they had to dismantle and rebuild some mechanical components and so forth. And many times I heard my colleagues telling that you should not show pictures like that because it gives a false impression about university studies of mechanical engineering. Well, I can agree, but on the other hand, if those guys should learn something about machine elements, tribology, surface roughness, how to count the oil thickness in elastrohydrodynamic lubrication, and they don't know anything about the fittings, tools, bearings, we are not on a very strong ground. And then there is another reason. Just look at the faces of those guys, how happy they are. So, as Christian told, we have set a very simple goal some 20 years back. We want to educate the best product developers in the world. How can you measure that? Well, that's the best part, you can't. But you can have some thinking behind. What do we need for that? I think the recipe is very simple. We need partners because the industrial manufacturing companies are the partners who knows best what's wrong. They have their hands full of their core activities that can't be shared by anyone, but they have a lot of ideas that were worth for further exploring if we just had the resources. We need some resources like this fine lab that you have here. We need lecture rooms, we need machines, we need experts, we need materials, and sometimes we need to have access to certain places that I will show later. And then we need the students and teams. Product development in our context is considered as super interdisciplinary activity, which means there are many kind of competencies often necessary to complete the project successfully. We need competence from engineering, mechanical, electrical, software, chemical. We need competence from business. We need competence from art and design, or even some others that are not listed or existing in our university. And then at the end, it's possible that the teams or team comes up with something that you see in the picture. This is one of the biggest creatures that has been built during the PDP 9 months. A fact that describes the amount of work that you see in this piece. It's a big turning table for large concrete elements that can be 8 meters long and with the weight of 15,000 kilos. So they spend more than 250 kilos of welding wire for putting those components together. There are 42 hydraulic cylinders and so forth. But everything is possible if you just have, you know, the right attitude, the right resources, and you just want to get it done. But another aspect is that product development, for most times, it's not very pleasant. You need to develop certain attitude, never give up. This picture is taken in the middle of the night after 12 hours trying to fix the problem with this conveyor system. And when you look at the eyes of the guys, you can see the feeling. You can feel the feeling almost. So we have been practicing this ever since 97. Actually, that course started already 96. So 356 projects has been completed. There has been quite many students from Aalto, from other universities, and over 160 industry partners. This picture is taken 25 years back, and you see many things that have not changed. We have the team there, and we have the sponsors there. How can you make the difference? Well, I guess there are 2 guys with a tie that makes a difference, but there are also 2 sponsors not wearing ties that are more difficult to separate from the students. What I told about the resources, it's there. They are standing in a lab. And behind them, you see actually the prototype that was built for the customer, that in this case was KONE, the elevators manufacturer. The disciplines, you see a lot of engineering students, but you also see 1 student from art and design. We only can see 1 female person in this picture. That was also very typical for mechanical engineering in those years, 25 years back. One thing that also hasn't changed that much is the men's fashion. I would also like to share some thoughts about teamwork in general, because if we should distill the core of product development studies, what is that? Well, it's not about that much about those basic skills that you learn at your schools, in the School of Mechanical Engineering or automation or software or whatnot. It's mostly about those skills and capabilities for better team working. Particularly when you work with people who are not familiar to you in advance, people that you even have some difficulties to understand that what is their capacity at all. When we start the course, we help the students in team forming, but it's a bit fuzzy process anyways. And always the students have a lot of thoughts that, how well did everything actually go? And maybe, how about if I'm in a wrong team, and so forth and so forth. Well, the truth is that in working life, you can't always choose your team, you can't choose your project, you just have to take what is given to you. But there is one thing that I try to explain to the students, that it's not hopeless. Because what we know, there is a trend in life that the number of so-called arranged marriages is going down, and we believe very much for the so-called love marriages. But what does the research tell us about this topic? Is that if we measure, and the time passes, with the so-called Rubin's love scale, maybe a bit surprisingly, the arranged marriages seem to be more happy when the honeymoon is over. So there is a chance to become a strong team, even if you don't like your partners at first look. And there are many methods how you can reinforce the team spirit. In Finland, we love karaoke. I don't understand why it was not invented in Finland, because we love it so much. But there might be other ways. Every team can choose their own way. But one very important thing to understand is that there's just one thing that is not okay, something that is wrong. And that is that you change your mind after the team forming. It's not your private matter anymore. It has an influence for everyone else. And this is something that you will have following you for your entire life. Nobody wants to be the traitor. We try to make that very clear. Successfully, not always so successfully, but at least we try. And then the projects, they can take our students, as I promised to show you, it can take them to places. If we work for a rifle maker, we don't have that many students who are hunters or who have practiced shooting in their life. So the first thing to do is to take them to a shooting track where you can feel and smell the gunpowder and dive into the topic that we are working with. Or sometimes we just have to take the students to the operation rooms in hospitals. Sounds tricky, but sometimes it's also surprising how easily the doors open when you just ask the right people and the right way. Let's see if the video works. So the room that you saw from the operation room is related to this topic. The students created a special light that enables you to saw things that are impossible to see with plain eye. In operations, everything is typically covered with blood, so what you see is mostly red. But it's very different to separate the muscles, veins, nerves, etc. And that's exactly what we want to see in order not to harm the patients in a way. Sometimes it means the students have to go to the fields and explore how the day of a farmer is. It can be 16 hours when the season is on. And there are so many things that typically do not belong to the experience of the course participants. I will skip this and go to the next one. This is what the students love. They were asked to develop this kind of a shield to stop bullets. And as many times in product development, it shows that it doesn't work at all against ballistic objects like bullets. But against shrapnels, against all odds, it proves to be a killer. There is nothing that goes through that shield. And this video is taken in Sweden, where we were assisted by the Swedish Defense Forces. Here you see the test for 900 millimeter trap. So it's a plastic bag that is filled with water, and there's also some powder inside that together with water forms something called hydrogel. And the shrapnels that are unsymmetrical objects face this gel wall. There is absolutely nothing that goes through. And this is also something that the students very much like to play with. What I think is very interesting is that such a project that at the end is a student exercise was once nominated as the project of the year, not in our university, but in our country. What you see here is a 14 meters long semi-trailer where you have an inbuilt simulation room for all kinds of fires. You can build a sauna, a kitchen, a living room, and let it burn. And you can see everything through big 1000 Celsius sustainable glass windows. You can see the temperature, you can see the smoke, and there is also an inbuilt water fog extinguishing system. And it's mobile. It can be brought anywhere, and that was exactly the need. It's still in use by the emergency services school in Finland. So these kind of things are possible. Well, of course, not with the budget that we gave for the students at the beginning, but because they had some enthusiasm and they by themselves applied for funding from and sponsorship from other parties. Together, the price tag for this was close to 300,000, but that was not my concern. That was done by the team autonomously. So I would like to finish my talk by just showing some pictures from the Gala that we just had on 16th of May in Finland. Just shortly mentioning, Saab was one of the sponsors, and what you see in the picture is a special drone that is designed to detect plastic mines in the region of Ukraine when the rebuilding of everything starts. There are millions of mines. 40% of the soil of Ukraine is covered by mines, and some of them are super difficult to detect by the old technologies. We see a small extendable sauna room developed for Korean LG. we see here an advanced trap for dung beetles. The scientists want to collect those little creatures for analyzing the DNA and then get some information about the numbers and the spread of mammals in the area. And there on the other side you see a friendly, curious robot concept for the Finnish Science Center, meeting the visitors and interacting with them based on the visitors' original behavior. Planning forests or little seedlings, and with the Italian partner Torgler, new concepts for more sustainable packaging of silicon products. Those tiny silicon tubes that many of you have been using maybe, the annual production is 600 million tubes. That is pure waste, can't be recycled because there are always remains of silicon inside, and that's the tricky thing. Now the students came up with 2 patented solutions how to avoid that problem. And then the last picture, Mirka is a Finnish producer of sanding materials, and that business is always a bit questionable with the healthy consequences or the dust that sanding or grinding creates. And the better the workers can be aware of the amount of dust dose, the better they can react. And then we had a team for Konecranes, the elevators, not elevators, but the hoisting company, overhead cranes and so forth. The problem is that when you need to assemble the overhead crane, you need 2 cranes in addition. And the idea was to somehow create the concept where the overhead crane itself could assemble itself in a new factory. So this was a short summary of the most recent projects, but I hope that you got some idea and answers to the questions that why did we originally set this course and how everything there happens. I hated to walk through this campus at late winter nights and see all the buildings closed and windows with no lights. And that was something that we wanted to change to something that is available for the students 24/7 whenever they have a need. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Eetu. Yeah, thank you for this interesting insights, how you guys are doing that in Finland. As I said, it's the big brother. We will hear a little later at the panel discussion with Mario Fallast, where he is. Oh, here he is. How that, why this plays such an important role for our product innovation. And before we let the students go on stage, I want just to show 2-3 slides what we tell the students. We tell the students innovation is novelty plus value, and novelty at our campus is seen everywhere in all institutes. We're working on patents, working on publications, working on something new. But not a lot of students and PhDs and professors are really looking into the topic of value. That's a value for society, the value for the company, to create something what really is needed in the world. So I wouldn't say we waste, but we have lots of patents in the drawer at the university, and the rector is proud that we have lots of patents, but they are just in the drawer. So that's not a good idea. We should use the patents. And we came up recently, and Mario was part of that, with a new course at the institute. It's called Spinnovation. to give students patents at the university, what is laying around in the drawer, and give it to students and say, if you want, you can do something with these patents, find applications, do something, and we have an agreement with the university. If students see after they finish the course and get few ECTS, and if they see there is a potential to start a company, they get the patents more or less for free. If it still counts, still have to fight for the students, but that's the idea. So value, that's what we tell the students. Etu already mentioned it's important to have some factors to look into when things are successful. And it's not just the ideas, it's of course to look into the right arena in terms of strategy, but it's definitely the culture. We heard a lot about culture from Etu, resources which are open 24/7, for example, that students can create their own atmosphere, which often is not the case at the university because the rooms are for the professors, the assistants, but the students go there on campus or in a seminar room and then they go home or meet at the Mensa. They should have a home at the university. And the ideas, it's not just the big ideas, but an effective idea to launch system to really make it happen and have the right resources. So that's one reason why we have this floor, was to make sure that the students can use this floor, and not just this floor, but at the end of the floor, I want to invite you afterwards to look at our machinery equipment, because that's what students need in order to come up with their prototypes, which you can see already at the edge of the room. And I want to invite you already right now, after the presentations, go to the students, they are waiting at the booth, and talk to them what this is all about, and that it let them show you that what they did, not just the presentation. Good. David Kelly, co-founder, or I would say founder of IDEO, said, "Belief in your creative capacity lies at the heart of innovation." And he came up with this design thinking approach, these 5 steps. I don't want to go in detail with that because most of you know that anyways. But what I really like is when I went to Palo Alto, it's close to Stanford, where IDEO started. And when I used to work in Boston at the Harvard Business School, a professor wrote a case study about IDEO. I had no idea what IDEO is and who is David Kelly. And I was curious, and I went there, and I found an Austrian there who was a senior consultant and showed me the space. And I was proud. It's a guy from Carinthia who spent 15 years there in California. And I have to say, welcome to Elgar Oberwelz. That's the guy on the first row. He's now living in Austria for 1 year or so. And now we tackle him for our students and to make sure that this knowledge from Palo Alto is introduced to our students and to our Graz community. Bernhard Weber is sitting next to him, the managing director of the Unicorn, and we have some other startup initiatives where you would be needed, I think, quite extensively. So thanks for coming today. So my last slide before we start is our figures, Etu. Not so impressive as your figures, but we are still happy that today is the 19th time, so we did that already 19th time. 600 students roughly participated. We are pretty proud that in the 500 courses in the School of Mechanical Engineering, we have the highest percentage of females. 30% in average are females in the program, and it is a very important success factor, I really have to say. We concluded 84 project teams with 37 company partners, and considering that every single company partners give us not just the guys I mentioned before, which are sitting in the first row, but also 30,000 euros per each student team. That's quite an investment and a real sponsor that the students can work on that. The students are coming from 55 nationalities and from 50 different universities. Interdisciplinarity is very important. We learned that from Aalto. We also learned that from Stanford, where there's the program ME310, or also from MIT, where they have a similar program. And we just kind of copied that and made it happen here with this ecosystem, what works here in Graz and in Styria in Austria. Good, that's what I wanted to tell you. Now I want to hand over to the overall project manager of the student teams. And this is Michael Knappich. Please come on stage and continue, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for the handover, Professor Ramsauer. It's always a delight to see you here on stage because you genuinely want to offer the best things possible for your students. So you were already introduced to the product innovation project we are doing here at the university. And I, together with my colleague Marin Unig, had the pleasure to guide the students through this year of challenges and innovations. And I won't take any longer, but introduce the first of this year's edition's company partners. It's a company that was already used to the product innovation project, and therefore we are super happy to have them here again. And thanks to their big variety of products and services they offer, they always come up with very new challenges. And this time they asked to improve the efficiency of tissue machines, reduce, if possible, the CO2 footprint, and have those machines as spot clean as possible. And we just found the team who tackled this challenge. And now I want to introduce you to the team. Yeah, and now I will hand over to the first team of this day. Please welcome on stage Team Steambusters.
Oh no, not again.
There's no toilet paper.
Oh yeah, it was out all over the stores. You know, when the tissue machines are not running at their best potential, such as they could, when employing the new Andritz steam box.
The what now?
Well, the Steambox. And with that, welcome to your first presentation of the day. The Steambox is a key component, exactly, a key component of a modern and efficient tissue machine, developed and built by Andritz.
Part, located just before the so-called Yankee roll, evenly heats the tissue paper using steam, optimizing the downstream drying process. However, due to the dust disposal in the tissue machine, the Steambox requires frequent cleaning to prevent it from clogging and therefore a decrease in performance.
Absolutely, and that's where our team, the Steambusters, comes in. We've developed a revolutionary, cost-competitive maintenance concept and integrated it into the Andritz Steambox design. This allows maintenance workers to perform tedious cleaning tasks easily and safely. This makes 2% daily performance gain and, additional to that, 40 extra hours per day.
Instead of diving too deep into technical details, we should focus more on real-world benefits today.
That's true, because what does this actually mean for the companies, Alex?
Well, paper moves through the machine with up to 2,200 meters per minute, reducing the daily maintenance time from 15 to only 5 minutes means 22 kilometers more paper output daily. A massive gain over the course of a year.
That's true. Imagine that. 22 kilometers. That's even more than a half marathon, right?
Exactly, Vanessa. And when we go back to our example, that makes round about 8,800 toilet paper rolls every single day. But what makes it even better, the new mechanism can be implemented not only into new steam boxes, but also retrofitted into existing designs. This then leads to better performance and easier services, a real improvement for plant operators
And of course, for the workers.
Thanks, Team Busters. Amazing work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Steambusters. What a lovely first presentation. From those innovations, nearly everybody could benefit from, sooner or later. So then, let's come from a very well-known and experienced company partner to a quite new one when it comes to product innovation projects. We are super happy to have the Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug AG here in our house, and you might know them from their best-known product, the piston bully. As you're for sure all winter sport enthusiasts, one can hardly imagine the Austrian ski slopes without the red piston bullies. And exactly for those products, the Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug AG asked us to revolutionize the undercarriage of those machines. And the team that tackled this challenge is this one. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hand over to our next team, the Alpineers. They did a long journey to come up with the new innovation.
Kässbohrer challenged us to revolutionize the undercarriage of a piston bully snow groomer, and today, here at Gala, you'll be hearing just how we did it. Beginning with the problem statement itself, it is obvious to see that in the past 50 years, only minor changes have been done to the undercarriage itself. Kässbohrer is the leading snow groomer, it leads the market for snow groomers globally through continuous innovation. We got to be a part of this unique opportunity and get our hands dirty with it. But before we go into solutions, we had to understand the weak points. Would you take us through these challenges, Peter?
I'd love to. So, you may think, never change a running system, right? Well, I mean, the system is running, but it still has its flaws. So that's why we switch it up. The current weak points consist of minimal sideways traction due to the shape of the cleats. Also, there is a lot of energy loss due to resistance inside of the tracks. For example, those rubber belts, bending them is quite hard. Then, there is no lateral flexibility, again, due to the cleats because they are really long and stiff. Also, while turning, there is a lot of wear and stress on the tracks. So, we came up with two prototypes. This is the track as it is now. Then we have a fast follower, which could be running by 2027, who knows. And we also have a more innovative approach, which is going to look like this, and this could be on the slopes in 10 years or maybe less. The fast follower looks like this, and it consists of alternated S-shaped cleats for more sideways traction. Also, we implemented a cutting pattern, so it's easier for the rubber belts to bend, so there's less bending resistance. The innovative approach. We split the tracks, now it's 4 instead of 2. They are each individually steerable, and therefore there is less wear and stress on the tracks while turning. Also, we have better ground adaptation. For example, if you go over an edge, you will not lose the contact point to the snow because there's a split in between. To have even better ground adaptation, we implemented small hexagons. They also provide traction in each driving direction, and we connected them in a flexible way. Therefore, we have better ground adaptation as well. And to ensure the optimal ground adaptation, we have rolly guns. They are really big, made out of rubber, filled with air at a very low pressure, and therefore we have optimal ground pressure as well.
And with everything Peter just said, this could be accomplished. Let's go through a real-life example. On around 20 days each season, there is not enough traction to drive straight up the slope because of the snow conditions. This means that the driver needs to winch to get up the slope. But to do so, he first needs to set the anchor point. That means taking the long way around, 30 minutes instead of 10. Out of the 2,000 bench vehicles worldwide, approximately 5% encounter these kind of slopes and this kind of every season. And with that, 660 hours of work and 16,700 liters of fuel is getting wasted. With better lateral traction, they could drive up in serpentines, saving time, fuel, and wear on the machine. We are excited to revolutionize the future of snow grooming. More efficient,
more adaptation,
and more sustainable.
That was Team Alpaniers for the Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug AG. And yeah, I guess efficiency is a buzzword right now, and every idea to keep the snow longer in the mountains is very warm welcome. And now, I'm happy to give you back to Professor Ramsauer. We're doing a quick change here on stage for the panel discussion before we proceed with teams 3 to 5.
I'm curious about teams 3, 4, 5 already, but I want to introduce you to Mario Fallast. And Mario, please come on stage, because Mario is a really special person in this product innovation. He, I would say, not invented, but he he not invented, but he brought the product innovation from Aalto University, visiting Kalevi Ekman as a student assistant at this institute a long time ago to my predecessor, Professor Josef Wohins. And I want to use the opportunity. Mario, please have a seat, and Kalevi Eto, please come also to the stage. I want just to briefly bring a few together in front of the audience to discuss a little bit about why and how, Mario, you came here to TU Graz and introduced that method. Because I remember Professor Wohins was doing that teaching innovation in a very typical way, what we saw on the second picture of Eto. I also learned it this way, and you came up with a pretty revolutionary idea of our institute. Can you elaborate on that just for a few minutes before I introduce you more?
Thank you. Yeah, actually what you have heard and seen from Kalevi was also the experience I did. I was one of the students with Kalevi when I was doing my exchange year in 2005, 2004. Back then, I kind of randomly chose the course. It actually looked kind of interesting, product development project. Yeah, let's try it out. One of the few English courses, and I was not aware how this changed my future career paths in two various ways. So actually I went through all this, what you have shown, like the happy moments within the project was also the, let's say, the tearful moments, and not only product development related emotions, but also like it's forming a team with all that, that's part of that. And yeah, when I came back, I actually two main things I took with me. The first thing was that we, as a team of students from MIT, but also from Helsinki, and me as an Austrian, we could come up with something that even the R&D department of the leading mobile phone manufacturer at this time, it was Nokia, could not come up with for different reasons. Resources, just different approaches. And we, as students, in the middle of our education, came up with solutions on that. And the second was that it seemed that the university is doing that since many years, so there must be benefit for the university on that. And basically that changed or was leading to two important things for me. The one, it made me an entrepreneur. And on the other hand side, it made me part of a well-connected university network. So maybe just when I did the course, just by researching for the project, I got to know a Dutch company. So just right after my exchange year, and maybe some of you had the same experience after being a year abroad, you might not be that eager to come back again. So I tried to stay still somewhere else. So I was in Amsterdam talking to my boss at this time. Actually, I had an idea for them related to this Nokia project. And I said, okay, how can we do? I don't want to tell you the idea, so how can we deal with that? He said, okay, come to me for 1 month in the summer, do a summer job. So sitting there, I was telling him about the PDP course in Finland, sitting in Amsterdam, and he asked me, how can we, as an unknown company from Amsterdam, participate in Helsinki? And I said, yeah, we just call Kalevi. So I called, said, well, I'm sitting here being a potential sponsor company. And even, it was not, I think, 2 weeks later, I was already back in Helsinki. Yeah, so that was the starting point. So I accompanied this company as in the viewpoint from a sponsor company. So I've seen it from a student, I've seen it from a sponsor company's view, and university was doing it for several years, so there must be benefit for the university. So being back home in Graz University of Technology, I suggested to Professor Wohins, well, couldn't we come up with something here at TU Graz? And that was basically the starting point of Product Innovation Project. And the entrepreneurial path was that we founded a company in 2009 based on this experience also, which was successfully grown the last 20 years and has now about 200 employees. So this was, I would say, Kalevi's course was quite important and quite influential for me.
Yeah.
Actually, if I may continue, Mario is a living example about the philosophy about
perspective, and then it's okay, I guess.
Sorry?
It's okay.
It's okay? I don't know if entrepreneurship is something that can be even taught. But I shared my opinion with Christian last night that I have a very clear picture that entrepreneurship is clearly an illness. And often you can see how it goes within a family, but also creating environments for study that are not too sterile. There is a bigger risk that the virus of entrepreneurship may attack you, is a chance. And I guess that is more or less what happened to you.
Definitely. And where the virus is not seen as a negative piece to get rid of, but there is also benefit out of that. And it's okay to be sick at some part of your life.
So that was something I also wanted to point out. So the virus in your body created a company which was close to bankruptcy several times, how it is when you have found a startup. But recently, a few months ago, for those who don't know that, one of the biggest US private equity company invested several $100 million in his company. And that's here in Graz on campus, and 200 people are working on that, what you created out of this system with Kalevi Ekman in Helsinki. And I think this is something what the students should take on. So what I learned when I was in Boston was everything is possible. You have to believe in it. You have to focus on it. You have to work for it, not 9 to 5, but you have to. Your heart has to be in that area, and then you will achieve your goals, and you will if you just continue and find the right network, find the right people. Also in your company, it was the same. Find the right partner. And that was really amazed me when I heard that, Mario. And so it's a big coincidence because I invited Kalevi Ekman already before, and I wanted to bring it two together. So my question is, and maybe the audience has also questions. My question is, what you just saw, the two teams, how similar, how different is that from Aalto, Kalevi, and to you, Mario? When you compare that with the starting point in the first few years, do you have some opinion on that, how that developed, and are you happy with that, or can we do something differently? Maybe, Kalevi, if you start.
The presentations were very short, very precise, very well trained, very informative. So there is not much to comment. How can you comment perfection? But maybe what we do a little bit more on our side is that the prototyping, learn from those processes. It's not always so easy to push students to get started with building when they still are a bit confused, what is right, what is wrong. So there is a lot of hesitation, and there are always excuses why to postpone the first prototypes a little bit.
Yeah, we have the same experience here. So the last few weeks, the workshop was always full of students. Mario, what do you?
Yeah, I think there's a great change from the last 19 years. You said we already started. I would say the presentations were extremely lively, and you said precise and perfectly. And I think one important attitude or element of a good solution is that it looks very obvious once you have the solution. But I think we all know that the path to find this finally obvious solution is extremely difficult and is not the direct way usually. So, and I think this is one thing to learn through the PI product innovation, but also PDP, to go this path and see that everything is possible, but it needs a lot of tolerance against frustration and a lot of approaches. And even if the first approach for a prototype has to work and it's totally logical that it's going to work, it won't. Yeah, and I think there's something you have to learn with your own hand, and then you believe it. Yeah.
I want to look to the audience. Are there any questions to the two experts of product innovation or comments? Yeah.
So you had both a lot of challenges in the PDP and PIP. What's the most challenging challenge that you had?
Well, to stay calm, there is no morning when you know exactly what has happened when the evening comes. So there is a lot of, surprises. There are a lot of unexpected difficulties, misunderstandings. It's an endless row of those. So not losing your nerves and trying to stay polite and just following the philosophy. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I would say, so I take the question in a way of what were the difficulties to bring such a project to Graz University of Technology? I said it to convince or find the right supporters, because like in every organizations, there are people who are less open to process innovations and teaching innovations, and others who are more. So to identify, to convince them was something. And I think that's also something that you need as an entrepreneur. You need to find your partners. And finally, I'm amazed how Christian and his team took over and how you developed this further. I think that's amazing. And it was also far beyond any expectation that we had when we started it in 2006 here in Graz.
Any other questions to the two experts before we continue? Who is raising the hand? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, now it works. What recommendation would you have for companies to keep up this kind of spirit within their teams? That would be my question.
This is a very difficult question to answer shortly, but let me try. One way is to keep up the connection, that you recruit young experts for finishing their master's thesis, perhaps within a company, or having these kind of activities with academic institutions, but the students mainly. Then it's the same challenge in every organization. What are the conditions for good work in any organization? Is that the person knows what is expected from her or him, the skill level is somehow in balance with the requirements, and then there is a system to receive feedback from one's work. If you have these conditions in order, that already, creates a good atmosphere, and sometimes I have also shown in my presentations the kind of a negative of Design Factory. That's the place where the PDP course is taking place. So if you want to focus on those things that will ruin everything, then it's better to always keep safety issues as a first priority. That is the best excuse not to do anything, because it's dangerous. And just focusing on bureaucracy and administrative practices and so forth and so forth. I don't want to continue this list, because it will stay in your minds as the final result.
Yeah, I think it's important to bring together the people who are already having this kind of mindset and try to make them maintain the mindset. And I think that typically happens if you bring these kind of people together. So when I look back to, or still my work now I'm doing at the university, I know who are the people with whom I can do this process innovations and to come up with new, let's say, idea day that we just came up, or like Spinnovation. Yeah, you know who to address and with whom you can do that, and we know who are the people in, like we have in every organization. With them, it's a bit more difficult to overcome some problems, or they see see more the problems than the opportunities in various new approaches. Yeah.
Any other question? Yeah.
Hello. So first, I would like to say thank you for such a great idea. It has gone far to change the way I see education, and hopefully in the future we could replicate that in the country where we came from. So my question to you, Mr. Fallast, is: did you always knew you were going to be an entrepreneur, or this course brought that entrepreneurship out of you? And that is one. And also to Mr. Ekman, my question is, how did you know this was the right course for the student? At 29 years ago, how did you know this was what the student need? Because I personally think that is very essential in training a student. Thank you.
Maybe I start. Did it make me an entrepreneur? Basically, it showed me that also without 10, 20 years of professional experience, you can come up with something valuable. Yeah, that was one important thing. And the other thing was very important for me. There is statistics that about 10% of students or alumni of a university become or want to become entrepreneurs, which means that you're basically, if you are such a person, you are surrounded by non-entrepreneurs. So you feel yourself kind of wrong. Yeah. So I thought I'm a mechanical engineer. So for me, the two career paths were totally clear. It was either Magna or AVL. That was my career paths. And I had 100 students sitting next to me. So I thought half of them are going there. Yeah. But to find out that you as a person with your specific skills and with this, in my case, entrepreneurial mindset, it's totally fine. And it's you with your personal, very special skill set that shapes your personal way, which is different to the others. That was a very important finding. And I hope that also in your teams here, you find out that even if you're studying the same, you have a very, very specific approach as you as a person with your background, which is not the same somewhere else. So maybe there's a problem out there where you or your team of entrepreneurs is exactly the one who solved that.
My answer to the question is that it's very natural growth. Typically, you start at the university as a student, and you have your own observations. What courses are well realized and what are not so well. So you try to build your own understanding about the good and bad education. And then if you have a chance to join the academic faculty, it's not an empty table. There are already many courses that are having their own concepts. And then you just have to start observing and collecting feedback and understanding that what works, what does not work. And that's exactly how I have, understood certain points in the courses that were there before me. What were the weaknesses? What were the problems? What were the things that I would like to change towards better? So it's a long way, and it is not, a change that happens like that. Trial and error sometimes. Sometimes you learn best practices from some other colleagues, maybe in another university. Step by step.
Good. We have to come to an end. Maybe room for one more question. And one more question. Last one.
Thank you from my side as well. My question, maybe quick and short, will be, even when founding a company or generally for your courses, how hard is it actually to raise money for all the things?
I would say, well, it's not an easy thing, but I say for good ideas and good business plans and good business opportunities, and if you envision this properly, you will find money.
Yeah, I have seen also many cases that even the idea might be healthy, but still, if you just are such a person, stubborn, and don't listen to advice, or you just want to do things in your own way, it's maybe not the best starting point. So a little flexibility and reacting in a proper way for the feedback that you get.
Yeah, you're right. So the product or the idea is not enough. It needs also the people people are convinced that you can, so in your case, who trust in you that you are the one who can make this, or who knows your own strengths and weaknesses and can build up a team that is able to realize that vision.
Thank you, Mario, and thank you, Etu, for this discussion. Thank you. We will go on now with the rest of the three teams.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for the panel discussion and for the genuine insights. I'm confident that we at the Institute were able to hand over the spirit of this idea to our students, and we will proceed with the next block of product innovation presentations. And for this, our next company partner is OMV. Of course, everybody knows OMV as one of the largest companies in Austria, and we are super happy that they were coming at us again and asking for a challenge. This time it's about geothermal drillings. They fancied if it is possible to improve the process of cleaning deep drilling cuttings. You wonder what cuttings are? This team is going to tell you. So now you know the team, you know a little bit of the challenge, and now let's take a deep dive into how the project was done.
Well, Jude, have you ever wondered what's below your feet?
Well,
have you ever wondered what's below your feet? Some of you might think this question can easily be answered by using seismic imaging, creating colorful maps like this, showing different layers of rock formations in our subsurface. But let me tell you one thing. These maps are highly imprecise. The more complex the geological situation gets, the blurrier the picture becomes. And that's a real problem, because when we are drilling thousands of meters deep into the earth, we're not just exploring. We are making multi-million euro decisions. And therefore what we need are physical samples, real material. Therefore to assess the quality, the age and the lithology of a geothermal well, it's necessary to analyze drill cuttings. Drill cuttings, you might ask. Drill cuttings are little pieces of rock that get flushed out of the borehole by a viscous liquid we call drilling mud. And it actually brings me right to our challenge, because OMV has tasked us to rethink the entire process of cleaning those cuttings. Now that all of you know why those cuttings are so important, let us take a closer look at where they come from.
So, let me take you through a typical day in the lab before we began our project. First, we need to wash our samples manually in different sieves to get rid of contaminants. Then, it's placed into an oven for drying. And after drying, it goes through a dry sieving stage. This is very time-consuming and monotonous, as we need to sample hundreds of these in a year. So we asked ourselves, how can we simplify this process? We didn't just want to automate it, but we wanted to reimagine the process. First, we found a sweet spot where the sample flashes cleaned from the sieves without causing it to clog. And then we redesigned the process by a seamless integration of the wet sieving stage and the dry sieving stage. Now, having this in hand, we asked ourselves, what is the smartest way to run our process reliably, efficiently, and with minimum human efforts? Our answer, a collaborative robot, a cobot.
But Jude, please explain to us, why did we choose a cobot?
So, we chose a cobot because it works safely with the operator and can work independently as well. Secondly, it offers us the flexibility of integrating future modules such as a chemical wash into our workspace. And finally, it easily integrates into our current workspace. Everyone, we didn't just simplify this process, but this is an upgrade. Here's our solution.
With all that said, I think it's now clear to say that we enhanced your subsurface vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Subsurface Vision, for not leaving one stone unturned. We are proceeding with another big player on the Austrian industrial sector, PALFINGER. PALFINGER, having an innovation department on their own, are no strangers to collaborations with students. And this time, they were wondering how their workplace up in the air might look like in the future. And the team tackling this challenge, see yourselves. So a very interdisciplinary team. And how they did with the challenge, they're going to tell yourselves.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, our team name is a promise. Quick question here. Who has ever stepped into an aerial workplace like this? Wow, not that many. Yeah. Well, we did. 40 meters up in the air. And let me tell you, it's exciting, but also terrifying. In front of the truck, you open the basket. First chills. You lift off, movement in open space. Second chills. You finally reach the top, have to look down, major chills. But then there's something. You hear a voice from below.
Lawrence, your safety leash.
Whoa, maybe I should clip that one in. Well, that was a true story, by the way. And let me tell you, this is where you're supposed to work? But jokes aside, working at up to 90 meters is tough. And even though PALFINGER already builds world-class baskets, we started thinking, how can we make this environment more safe, more ergonomic, and more versatile without limiting the worker? So we dove deep into industry research and quickly noticed the baskets, they look the same and have so for quite some time. A fresh trademark feature to shake things up, definitely overdue. We also saw some untapped potential in modularity, functionality, ergonomics, and also very important, protection from the elements. So we asked ourselves again, wouldn't there be a safer, smarter way to secure the worker and even monitor the safety leash? Can we prevent entrapment like this? 13 fatalities in 2023 crushed by external structures. The other number, 29 fatalities in 2023. People died falling from platforms. The leash, forgotten. Been there. Ignored or simply too annoying to use? This data came from the IPAF safety report that takes place annually. So we asked ourselves again, now, wouldn't there be a safer way to secure the worker and monitor the safety leash? Can we prevent entrapment, increase functionality, and maybe integrate future-ready tech? Is there a way?
I think there is a way. So let's please say hello to Halo. Halo is a multi-purpose structure that takes current AVPs to a whole new level. It's a complete novelty in its field, so let me tell you more about its amazing features. Its adjustable design accommodates users of all different heights and postures to provide them with an amazing workspace. To use the Halo, you would first step into the Halo and then clip yourself to one of those 6 completely separated attachment points. Then you raise the Halo. With the jib boom out of the way, you can then flip the Halo to its final position. But sometimes it just gets dark. That's why we integrated 2 bright LED lights into the Halo. But we didn't stop there. We also equipped Halo with the universal rail mounting to include all of your favorite tools you need to get the job done. For example, material handlers, lighting, or even sunshades.
Yes, so this is the Halo. If you want to know more, we have a surprise for you at the team booth. Heightened performance, maximum safety. But wait.
There is one more thing. Since yesterday, and thanks to PALFINGER, Halo is now patent pending. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Liftoff. Even I feel a bit safer now. So let's change the scale a little bit and come from very big scale engineering to small scale, teeny tiny bits. And we are super happy to have TDK as a company partner for our 5th and for this year, last Product Innovation Challenge. TDK asked us if we were able to find applications for their very precise, highly precise production techniques. And we just found the right team for them. So with this team and their capabilities, I'm sure the presentation will flash you.
Three, 2, 1, let's go.
Today, we invite you to join us on a journey where we discover groundbreaking technologies and discover new horizons. In collaboration with our company partner, TDK, we had the honor of developing something revolutionary, a technology where we combine ceramics with metals. Therefore, we use a special 3D printing technology to create a so-called metamaterial. This material has resistances against radiation, pressure, corrosion, and is heat resistant up to 1500 degrees Celsius. So this offers a lot of new opportunities in the field of electric industry. And our mission was clear. We want to use this cutting-edge technology to create a new product. During our research, we identified 19 different ideas and chose to go with the most promising one. We created a motion sensor specifically for harsh environments.
So, let's take one of our sensors. To measure anything, we actually need two of these elements and the transceiver. The transceiver sends a signal to our sensors, which then gets reflected. Here we can see there is no movement in our sensors, so the input and output are the same. But if we now introduce movement in the sensors, and once again send the signal to the sensors, and look at the output signal, we can see a clear shift in frequency. With this frequency shift, we can precisely measure in which way our sensors are moving. This is revolutionary, because our sensors work completely contactless and wireless, don't need any power source at the measuring site, and are really small and lightweight. Don't believe me? I actually brought one with me, right here. You may not be able to see it, but I can assure you, it is right between my fingers. But yes, it's actually as small as a grain of sand.
To demonstrate you about the capabilities of our sensor, we chose one of the harshest environments we as human beings can think of: space. Whether exposed to the freezing void of space nearby solar panels, antennas, or optical systems, or the searing heat nearby a rocket engine, our sensor measures motion precisely.
We created a sensor for the extreme environments, just like space. And many things started in space and are now part of our daily lives. So let's zoom in and go back down to Earth. What started as a small innovation has the power to revolutionize whole industries. Beginning from the transport sector, going to medical care, this sensor is going to be part of your everyday lives. This future starts now. Thank you.
Thank you, Team New Horizon, for taking us on a journey. I'm truly heartfully happy that all of these presentations were this good, but now, my audience, it's your time. Now it's your decision, because there's the Product Innovation Award. The Product Innovation Award is representative for the achievement of the teams well over a year. So they collected points, and we already summed them up a little bit, but there's still 1/3 left. And that 1/3 comes from you. So I ask you to choose your favorite team. I'm sorry, you only can choose one of the teams. To have another quick overview, we heard the 5 presentations of the team Steambusters for the Andritz Challenge, Team Alpaniers for the Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug Pistenbully Challenge, Team OMV took a deep dive into the subsurface vision. For PALFINGER, Team Liftoff found a patented solution, and at TDK, they came up with something that will clearly change industry. So please, scan the codes, vote for your favorite, and the polls are now open for 5 minutes. And since we're not going to wait for those 5 minutes till you voted, we're doing a little program on the side. I'm happy to hand you over to my supervisor, Hans Schnell. He's the deputy head of the department, and he will do some interviews with the company partners.
So, ladies and gentlemen, also warm welcome from my side. So the voting is going on, so it takes some minutes that everything is ready. This gives us the opportunity to give the speech to our industry partners, our company partners, and therefore please welcome with me on the stage Mr. Hugo Karre. He is Vice President and Head of Process Innovation Center of TDK. Bernhard Weiss-Buslama from PALFINGER is a technology expert and innovation scout. Then Michael Bergmann, Director Business Development for Andritz Pulp and Paper Services. Then Roland Albustin, he's Senior Production Technologist for Surface Solutions at OMV. And finally, so Daniel Hartmann, Advanced Technologies from Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug AG. So I want to start with a very open question. So what were your impressions from today's presentations? Your projects, the other projects, what are your impressions? Information, Hugo was a PhD, a former PhD at our institute, so he has great insights from the institute's perspective, but also now from company's perspective. Probably you're the best to start and answer that question.
Well, thank you, Hans. Well, the variation is always interesting. If you start this journey and company partners, so all of us, we have intermediate meetings, right? So we see the journey at least a little bit. And you see a whole group of students in the beginning of October actually having no clue, at least not in our team, what is ceramic, what can ceramic do, what are you anyway doing with it, right? And it took me, this year I think it took till February when the first time I had to say, I don't know it anymore, okay? So they became the experts in our product, and that's always very interesting to see.
Thank you. So Bernhard, I think it was quite amazing this year, as the team mentioned before. You already made it that the patent is pending. How did you manage that as an established company with existing traditional development processes to include such open innovation processes and projects in your daily life?
Yeah, good question. Well, at this moment, I would say it's quite simple. We only need a couple of good projects being done in the past. Then we go to our sponsors in the product lines and then we say, okay, let's do another cool project again. Then we get the resources. We have a great team from our product lines here accompanying us through this journey every year. And then we're gonna do a great journey together through this whole 7 months and try to fix down a good product within the halftime show. And then we'll try to get the admission for a patent. So it's great. It's about a journey we go together with the company and together with the team where we do not know in advance what we get out of it. But mostly until now, we find good products at the end.
May I hand over to Daniel from Kässbohrer Geländefahrzeug. So, as I know, somehow you integrate the design thinking processes also in your daily life, and we are looking on the project, this year's project. So probably we are quite in the middle of the project and of a design thinking process. And I think it's not that easy or to bring these technologies as presented today finally to the market. What are the next steps for you as Kässbohrer to bring these ideas on a further way?
Well, I think the next step would be the test phase. So we will bring the prototype to the customer, test it, validate it, getting feedback, and then depending on the feedback, we will do an iteration or even bring it to the serial implementation.
So are there specific plans to do the next steps?
Not yet, but
Not yet.
we will see.
We will see. So I think, Michael.
Yeah, also on our side, I mean, it's always a pleasure to really look and see the teams developing over the year. And as you said before, it's you start, they don't know much, and in the end they know more than you. And for us, it's then the question what comes out, how we implement and integrate this in our own innovation schedule to bring this to the market. But the good projects, and also, for instance, I can refer to already last year where we also had a patented solution, and this is currently in the making of being put to the market. And also this year, we already spoke to the responsible product managers. I think this will also make it to real life.
Thank you. So for us, it's very interesting. So at the beginning of such open innovation projects, a big issue for most of the companies is how to deal with IP. And as you can see, it's manageable, and we can do it within this time frame at the end that there's the IP for the company, but including this type of open innovation processes within to the company. So we saw a very different range of projects this year. So from an existing technology with more or less no applications so far, but very practical applications. For example, for OMV, it's a problem to wash those parts. It takes a lot of time. You're drilling more and more and more, I think, and that's an issue for you in daily life. So why is it for you that important to come up with such a student team to bring those projects to life?
Yeah, for us, I think the main important thing is that the students, they don't know what we are doing. We are doing things since 50 years in the same way. They just come, look on it, they ask questions. We are already focused on, and they think out of the box. And that's the good thing on it. You get a new insight, you get a new view on something which you have done already your whole life, and you never thought about it, to do it in a different way. And I think that's the big good thing here in this place. Thank you for being part of this.
You're welcome. So Hugo, coming back to you. So you have the perspective from two sides, from the university side, working with the students within the teams, on the challenges, and now as a representative of the company. So what are the different views? Would you do something differently if you can do it again as a PhD student supporting the teams, or is it still the same? What should we adjust?
I think it's a good question. The main thing is maintaining energy and engagement, I think, on the student side, but also on the company side. And being part of the staff, accompanying the students day by day, and Mario is smiling, we did it together. I remember in my first years. It is a lot of work to be there day by day, you know, and as a company partner, you come in, and we did it quite frequently. So every 2 weeks, this year, we had our session with the students because of these learnings I had back then, because every decision is a good decision also for the students, guiding them, keeping them engaged, keeping them motivated. So I think this learning has already happened many years ago, Hans. And I think this is the most important thing, to keep the engagement of both the students and the company partners.
Yes, that's true. That's very important. It's always a pleasure for us to include not just the motivated students, but also the motivated guys and guys with an open mind, more or less, doing some things differently, and sometimes doing things that are not official or not official or part of the official business daily life. So I have to ask regarding the voting, what's the status of the voting? So last round of questions. I have again one open question at the end. So as Christian Ramsauer mentioned at the beginning, this year's edition was the 19th edition of this product innovation project, as it was called in the past. Next year we have the 20th edition. And as we are the Institute of Innovation, we always think, what can we do better? What can we do differently? And we're also thinking in the extremes. And one extreme decision could be just to stop with the project in the 20th year. Do you have any arguments why we shouldn't do that? Bernhard?
we need more of those ideas and those concepts. Please do not stop. Nevertheless, I'm truly a friend of questioning things that have been running in a comparable, certainly improving way, but that are quite, in a tradition. But I truly think there are a couple of options to enhance, to change, to make something really new out of it. The core, we need innovation, we need products. The manner in which project innovation is taught and done here is so valuable for us. But yeah, a couple of days ago, I had this thing. Okay, we at PALFINGER, we are building products all over the world. We create products for such a large number of markets. I would really love to do one time an innovation project on 3 continents in parallel. So maybe this is something for you to set up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's value for the companies we already discussed. But if we would stop, I think you would need to find another format for the students because it's their learning, right? In the end, it's a lecture. It's about their learning, and this would be, I think, a big miss. At least if I look at the faces today of the students, see some nodding there.
So I was asking Hugo because he already ordered a slot for the next edition, so he's already part of it. So I think we don't want to stop it. So I think we can end up here. The voting is ready, so I think it's clear who is the winning team today. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support all over the year, and as well, thank you for the contribution to this interview session. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to also use the opportunity to say thank you to the company partners, Andritz, especially Michael Bergmann, Manfred Diebel, and Peter Ebnet, Kässbohrer, Christian Oberwinkler, who is the COO of the company, Daniel Hartmann and Claudius Henger, OMV, Wolfgang Huyer, Roland Albustin, and Christoph Smolka, and say hi to Mr. Doroszewski, your boss who couldn't come today. He is a supporter of us. And of course, PALFINGER for several years now, Mr. Bernhard Weiss-Buslama, Benjamin Bergmeier, Heike Bröcker, who is here today, and Simon Dorfer, and TDK, Hugo Caro, and Hans Pichler. I also want to mention that the boss of Hugo Caro is here, Mr. Georg Kügler, and I also want to say thank you that you are a part of this collaboration and you support that. Thank you very much, and I think that's worth an applause. Good. It's now an honor to see who won today's Product Innovation Award 2025. And if I hit now the button, is this the right team? Okay. Then let's see. It was really interesting. I know it already. And it is Team PALFINGER. Please come on stage. The whole team. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great presentation. Congratulations, really. Yeah, that's the whole team. Now you see it in real life, some pictures. Who is the team coach? Our coach. Who is the coach? Michael. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let's have a picture first. Okay. So congratulations, Michael, also for the winning. You're the part of the winning team.
checking where the trophies are.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good. That was it, basically. I have some closing remarks to say and to say thank you to a few people who were part of that whole venture. There are many people involved. For example, our mentors, guest lecturers and supporters. And I start with Mr. Wolfgang Lindheim, who is not here today with his experience as an ex-Porsche manager from US. Elga Oberwels, please come on stage. No, you have to come on stage because everybody comes on stage. Elga Oberwels was a mentor. Michael Müller, is Michael Müller here? Okay, great. Please come on stage. A mentor, Matthias Friesnick, which is not here today. Hugo Carre again, please again, come on stage. Andrea Huber is here. Please come on stage. And yeah, I want to say thank you for her work. Who do not know Andrea Huber, she used to be an opera singer, and the reason why this stage presence is so great is because of her. So I want to say thank you to Stefan Lipic and Gerson Müller, who is dealing with cameras and the regie. Thank you. Next one, of course, Hans Schnöll. Please come on stage. My assistant, Ulrike Dörn. Please come on stage. Thank you very much for your contribution. And Yasmine Sagrando. Yasmine is here. Thank you very much for your help during the whole year. Daniela Neukamp, which is not here today. Kilian Waltel, the head of our workshop, is he here? Kilian, he supported the prototyping stuff. Actually, he is the guy who pressures the team, prototype, and there are the little excuses to postpone, what Kalevi Ekman said. Felix Wögerbauer, Matthias Stangl, Philipp Ruschal, Anne-Kathrin Bock, who is helped the team the whole year. Thank you very much for your help as student assistant. Gerhard Laubichler, team coach, and Michael Knapic. I want to say thank you very much for your work this year. That's a big work. Thank you. And last but not least, Marion Unek, which is here. Please, Marion, come on stage. She used to be the project manager the last 4 years. She will leave the institute by end of July. Please come to me, Marion. And she's a brand new PhD. She got a doctorate this morning. Thank you. Okay, please come closer. Is it planned that also the teams come up? Yeah, all the teams, please come up.